go directly to the practice. Letting the bell bring you into the space of the body, this realm of physical sensations. Allowing the awareness to gently descend down to the point where the body touches the cushion or the chair. And noticing whatever sensations arise in that area. Simply let the body and the awareness to become grounded and stable. As if creating roots for yourself so that you can remain in a state of calmness, relaxation. And expanding the awareness to cover an entire space of the body, noticing any deviations in the posture, letting your body be relaxed, but at the same time adopting an upright position, remaining alert. Now go through the process of letting go of tension, of stress, of tightness and constraint. Allow every single muscle of your body to become soft and free of tension. Allowing the three qualities to arise: relaxation, stillness, and alertness. The speech remains in a state of effortless silence. And in order to bring the mind into synchrony with the state of calmness of the body, you can simply observe the breath for a few rounds, wherever it feels more comfortable. I suggest at the level of the abdomen in order to become even more grounded. So simply stay with the natural flow of the breath as it comes in and out. In order to gain more stability of body and mind. Whenever you feel that you've completed the preparation, that your body, speech and mind are abiding in a state of serenity and calmness, at that point you can make sure that your eyes are at least half open and begin to pay attention by letting go of the physical sensations, bringing the attention inwardly toward the mind itself, observing all the events that arise and dissolve in the space of the mind. Just as if you were looking out the window into a busy street full of people, cars and movement. However, you don't chase after, you don't follow any of the movement in the street. You simply observe all the events happening there. So in that way, without chasing after thoughts, without getting involved with them, simply observe as they arise and pass in the space of the mind. Observe thoughts, feelings and emotions, and simply stay with them, observing from a distance. Every now and then, using the tool of introspection, notice what the mind is doing. If you get caught up in thoughts, if you start to follow them, and simply relax at that moment, release the distraction and return to observing from a distance the mind and its objects. Just like watching the water and the river flow from the river banks. No need to get involved and submerge in the current. Simply observing from afar. Are you still focused on the mind and its bends? Notice what is going on. Check the body and mind. Make sure you don't go into a daydream chasing after thoughts. But also make sure you don't go dull or sleepy. As the object in this case is much more subtler than the sensations of the breath. It requires your full attention. It requires a clear awareness to be able to get to it. So simply refresh your attention. Focus it again on the mind and its base of its events. and continue to observe. From observing the mind, now slowly and gently come back to the sensations of the body. And gently come out of the meditation, noticing your surroundings and your environment. Take a moment and take care of your body. If you need to move or stand up, you can do it now. Alright, so going back to the posture. We'll do a meditation on compassion. So let's start by preparing the body, speech and mind for the meditation. As we've done so many times, at your own pace and rhythm, simply go through the process of settling down. If you find it beneficial and helpful, you can use 3 deep breaths to bring back briefly that state of calmness and relaxation, to quickly let go of all the remaining tension that is in the body. And then letting go of control, letting go of the breath, allowing it to go back to its natural rhythm. Simply observe it for a moment. Stay with the physical sensations. And now letting go of the breath, letting go of physical sensations, we bring the awareness inwardly, noticing the mind, the heart. So first, as we usually do, we begin by cultivating this positive state of mind for ourselves. No matter how much mental afflictions are covering the surface of our mind, underneath this dirt is the natural purity of the mind. This purity of mind, our Buddha nature, our potential to reach full awakening. Imagine this deepest dimension of your own mind as a small, radiant, white sphere of light at the center of your chest, at the level of your heart. And arouse the thought, how wonderful it would be if I were free of suffering and its causes. Contemplate upon the different types of suffering that you undergo, difficulties of body and mind, pain, sickness, anger, thirst. Whatever experiences you can bring to mind, acknowledge how they agitate and upset your mind at that moment. And also all the mental suffering, things such as anxiety, sadness, loneliness, anger, fear, pride and jealousy. Having all this in mind, acknowledging how they feel really bad to you. They feel unpleasant. So really wish for yourself. May I be free of all suffering and mental afflictions. Imagining your present and future suffering and mental afflictions in the form of a dark cloud within your body. With each in-breath, imagine drawing this dark cloud into the sphere of white light at your heart. The dark cloud of suffering and mental afflictions being completely extinguished, disappearing without a trace. Breathe in with compassion, dissolving and extinguishing your suffering and mental afflictions at your heart, dissolving it into your inner wisdom. And then imagine being completely free of all the suffering and mental afflictions which prevent you from being able to help others. Because how can we help while we ourselves are suffering? But utterly eradicating this dark cloud of suffering within you until there's nothing but this sphere of white light, this mind of compassion. Then we focus its light not just into ourselves, but also to others. So start by bringing to mind, visualizing in front of you a stranger, a person who you're not very familiar with. Somebody you don't know very well, or perhaps don't even know at all. And recognize how this person in front of you, just another human being, they also undergo different sufferings in their life. And yet all they want is to be happy, to be free of problems and difficulties. It doesn't seem like they can accomplish that. So knowing for yourself how much trouble suffering creates, once again allow the thought of compassion to arise toward them. Wishing from your heart, deeply and sincerely, how wonderful it would be if this person was free of all their suffering, all the problems, all the difficulties. With an open heart, wish May you be free of all suffering and pain. And once again, imagining their suffering manifesting as a dark cloud in their body. With every in-breath, imagine drawing this darkness out of their body, bringing it to the sphere of light at your heart, allowing it to dissolve without a trace. The sphere of light shining brightly, completely destroying all the suffering and all the traces of it. Breathing in with compassion. And then imagine the cloud of suffering vanishing completely. And notice the person's reaction. Now they're free of all their difficulties, free of all the pain. Imagine their relief in finding this freedom from suffering and pain. And feel a sense of joy that now they're completely free of their suffering. Allowing the light at your heart to become brighter and brighter. To fill your entire being with the thought of compassion. Allow the stranger to dissolve back into your heart. And now bring to mind someone that you have difficulties with. A person that you might even consider an enemy, perhaps because of their bad behavior or some harm that they've inflicted upon you. Imagine them clearly in front of you. Take a moment to see this person. See them as they are, just like yourself, a person who wishes to be free of suffering. However, due to the mental afflictions, such as anger, greed, and confusion, they are creating all the causes for suffering for themselves and those around them. It is probably one of the reasons that you don't get along with them. You've probably had an interaction, an argument, when they were under the influence and the control of their afflictions. Can you really blame them? They are suffering. Just like you, just like anyone else. Acknowledging this, arouse the yearning. How wonderful it would be if they were free of all the mental afflictions that cause the suffering. May you be free of all suffering and all its causes. And again, seeing all these afflictions in the form of a dark cloud, with every in-breath, drawing this darkness out of their body, allowing it to dissolve into the sphere of white light of your heart, which shines brightly and warmly, completely destroying, obliterating every trace of suffering. Breathe in with compassion, dissolve and extinguish their mental afflictions, all of their suffering, into this heart of wisdom. Let the suffering dissolve, not even a trace left. And take a moment to observe the person who is now completely free of all their afflictions. Notice a smile on their face and an improvement on their behavior and actions. And feel a sense of joy. Rejoice and be happy that you've had the opportunity to let this mind of compassion rid this person of their suffering. And now, making peace with them, allow them to dissolve back into your heart. And expanding this light of compassion in all directions, allowing it to cover absolutely everything. Dissolve all appearances. And let your awareness come to rest. Resting in awareness itself, resting in the natural purity of the mind, this luminosity of clear awareness, a mind which is naturally compassionate. And simply abide in that experience for a while. So now simply take a moment to dedicate, to offer the merit of positive potential to the well-being of yourself and others, thinking especially of those who are undergoing some kind of suffering, some difficulties of body and mind. May they be free of all their suffering. May they experience nothing but happiness.